Welcome, dear friend. Tonight, we gently close the doors to the day that has passed with all its demands and all its noise, and we prepare our hearts and minds for a period of sacred rest. Here, in this quiet space, you are invited to simply be, to breathe deeply, and to release the weight of your thoughts and cares into the hands of a loving God. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to solve. Your only task is to rest, to listen, and to allow the story to become a vessel that carries you toward the shores of peaceful sleep, knowing that even as you rest, God is watching over you. And so, find that perfect place of comfort and stillness, a place where your body can finally feel fully supported and at ease. Allow your head to rest gently upon the pillow, feeling the soft fabric against your skin, this silent permission to let go. Take a slow, deep breath in, drawing the air deep into your lungs, and as you exhale, imagine the tension of the day flowing out of you like a river returning to the sea. Feel the muscles in your shoulders begin to soften, releasing the burdens they have carried. Let this wave of relaxation travel down your arms, through your hands, and to the very tips of your fingers. With each subsequent breath, feel this gentle release move downwards through your entire body. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your chest, a steady, calming rhythm that mirrors the peaceful cadence of this sacred time. Your eyelids feel heavy, a pleasant weight that invites them to close, shutting out the world and turning your focus inward. Here, in the quiet darkness, you are safe. Here, you are held. Allow the sound of my voice to be a gentle guide, a steady anchor in the calm waters of this present moment as we prepare to step into a story of faith, of fear, and of the unwavering presence of God that meets us even in the midst of the storm. Let every word wash over you, a soothing balm for your weary soul as you drift deeper and deeper into a state of profound and restorative peace. The world around you is a symphony of chaos, a masterpiece of wind and water painted in the deep, inky blues and churning grays of a storm-tossed night on the Sea of Galilee. You are in the boat, a small, solitary vessel of groaning timber and strained rope, adrift on an ocean of liquid fury. The air itself feels heavy, thick with the spray of salt water that stings your eyes and clings to your skin, a constant chilling reminder of the sea's immense and untamable power. Each wave is a rolling mountain rising from the depths, its peak a crest of white foam that seems to scrape the low-hanging, bruised purple clouds before it collapses and slams against the side of your boat with a percussive boom that you feel not just in your ears but deep in the cavity of your chest. The wooden planks beneath you shudder and groan in protest, the sound a mournful cry that harmonizes with the shriek of the wind as it whips through the rigging, tearing at the mast and the tightly bound sail. You grip the weathered gunwale, your knuckles white and aching, the coarse, damp wood, a fragile anchor in a world that has lost all sense of stability. The boat pitches violently, one moment ascending toward the tumultuous sky, the next plunging into a dark, watery valley that swallows you whole, obscuring your view of everything but the next colossal wave forming before you. It is in these terrifying troughs, surrounded by walls of dark water, that a profound sense of isolation settles upon you, a feeling of being utterly small and insignificant in the face of nature's raw, untethered might. The other disciples are shadows of fear around you, their faces pale and slick with rain and sea spray, their movements frantic and uncoordinated as they work the oars with a desperate, failing strength. Their shouted words are snatched away by the gale, lost to the overwhelming roar of the storm, leaving only the grim set of their jaws and the wide, a frightened look in their eyes to communicate the shared terror that binds you all together in this precarious cradle of wood. The relentless rocking of the vessel becomes a dizzying, nauseating rhythm, a cruel dance with the sea that threatens to cast you all into the cold, suffocating embrace of the deep. There is no moon, no stars, only the oppressive darkness, a velvet blanket of black occasionally illuminated by a sudden, brilliant flash of lightning that etches the chaotic scene onto your retinas for a fleeting, terrifying second, a snapshot of towering waves, the straining mast, and the desperate faces of your friends. In those brief silent moments after the thunderclaps, a different kind of fear creeps in, a more primal dread that whispers of the unseen things that dwell in the lightless depths beneath you, a fear of what lies beyond the reach of your sight and your control. The cold has seeped into your bones, a damp chill that your drenched cloak cannot repel, and you shiver not just from the wind but from the chilling realization of your complete and utter helplessness. You and your companions are seasoned fishermen, men who know this sea like the back of your own hands, yet this storm is different. It possesses a personality, a malevolent, directed anger that seems focused entirely on your small, struggling boat. It feels personal, a relentless assault designed to break both your vessel and your spirit. The fatigue is a leaden weight in your limbs, your muscles screaming from the exertion of fighting the oars, of bracing against the ceaseless, violent motion. Hope begins to fray at the edges, worn thin by the hours of struggle against an indomitable foe. The rhythm of the waves, the howling of the wind, the groaning of the wood, it all merges into a single, overwhelming sensory experience that threatens to consume your consciousness, pulling you down into a vortex of exhaustion and despair. It is the fourth watch of the night, that deep and slumbering hour just before the dawn, when the darkness is at its most profound and the human spirit is at its most vulnerable. It is a time when the world feels ancient and weary, and the hope of a new day seems like a distant, improbable dream. And it is into this bleak and desperate moment, this crucible of fear and futility, that a new element introduces itself, an anomaly so surreal, so utterly impossible, that your exhausted mind struggles to comprehend it. A figure, silhouetted against the distant, churning gray of the horizon, appears to be moving across the surface of the water, not in a boat, but upon it, walking over the very waves that threaten to destroy you. At first, your mind refuses to process the sight, seeking a more rational, earthly explanation that simply does not exist. It must be a trick of the light, a phantom conjured by the storm and your own exhausted imagination, a collective gasp, sharp and ragged, ripples through the men in the boat, and you hear someone whisper the word ghost with a voice trembling from a terror far deeper than anything the wind and waves could produce. This is a new fear, a supernatural dread that chills you more than the sea spray ever could. The storm you understood, its power was physical, tangible, a thing to be fought with muscle and wood. But this silent, inexorable figure approaching through the gale, gliding over the violent peaks and troughs of the waves as if walking on solid ground, this is something else entirely. It moves with a calm and deliberate grace that is a profound and terrifying contradiction to the maelstrom surrounding it. Your heart hammers against your ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the symphony of the storm, and you instinctively shrink back, pressing yourself against the cold, the wet timber of the boat, as if it could somehow shield you from this spectral apparition. The figure draws closer, still indistinct in the oppressive gloom, its form a darker shade of night against the churning backdrop. A flash of lightning momentarily illuminates the scene, and for a terrifying, heart-stopping instant, the shape resolves into the silhouette of a man, robed and steady. Before the world is plunged back into darkness, the image is burned into your mind, an impossible reality that your senses scream is true while your reason screams that it cannot be. The fear in the boat becomes a palpable thing, thick and suffocating, a shared, silent panic that unites you all in a moment of pure, primal dread. You are no longer fighting the sea. You are cowering from the unknown spirit that has risen from its depths to claim you. And then, a voice cuts through the roaring chaos, a sound that is not of the storm but above it, a voice that does not shout to be heard but simply is heard, resonating in the very fiber of your being. It is a voice you know better than your own, a voice that has spoken parables in the quiet afternoon sun, that has prayed with you in the early morning stillness, that has offered comfort and wisdom and profound, life-altering truth. Take courage, the voice says, the words a balm of impossible peace that seems to momentarily quell the shrieking wind. It is I, the sound of it, the familiar timbre and gentle authority, is like a key turning a lock deep within your soul, and the suffocating grip of supernatural terror instantly loosens, replaced by a wave of staggering, bewildered recognition. It is Jesus. It is the Lord. The relief is so profound it almost brings you to your knees, a dizzying flood of emotion that washes away the icy fear. Do not be afraid, he says, and the words are not just a suggestion but a declaration, a divine command that seems to push back the darkness both outside and within you. Suddenly, the storm, which only moments ago was your entire reality, the all-consuming monster bent on your destruction, begins to fade into the background. It is still there, the waves still crash, the wind still howls, but it has lost its power over you. Your entire world, your entire consciousness narrows to a single point of focus, the figure of your Lord, standing serenely upon the very chaos that was threatening to drown you. You see him now not as a ghost, but as the master of the sea itself, the one whose power transcends the laws of the world you thought you knew. He is the calm at the center of the hurricane, the stillness within the tempest, and looking at him you feel a safety more profound than any harbor could ever offer. An impulse wild and audacious rises within you, a thought so bold it feels like madness, yet so compelling it feels like divine inspiration. It is a surge of faith, a desperate desire to bridge the tumultuous distance that separates you from him, to be where he is, to participate in the miracle he is embodying. The groaning wood of the boat beneath you no longer feels like a sanctuary, however fragile. It feels like a cage, a boundary keeping you from the source of all peace. While your brothers in the boat are still paralyzed by a mixture of lingering fear and dawning wonder, your heart is alight with a singular, consuming purpose. The words form on your lips before you have fully considered their implication, a prayer and a challenge all at once, born of a faith that momentarily eclipses every shred of doubt and fear. You push yourself away from the gunwale, finding your footing on the pitching deck, your eyes locked on Jesus. Lord, you call out, your voice thin against the gale but projected with all the strength of your soul. If it is you, command me to come to you on the water. The request hangs in the air, a breathtaking act of trust. You are not testing him, you are testing yourself, testing the reality of his presence, and asking for an invitation into his world, a world where the sea is a solid path and the storm is merely a backdrop for his glory. You are asking to leave the known world of cause and effect, of buoyancy and gravity, and to step into the world of faith, a world governed only by his word and his power. And his response comes back to you, carried on the same wind that threatens to capsize your vessel, a single perfect word that changes everything. Come. That one word is not a gentle suggestion, it is a creative act. It is an infusion of power, a tangible thread of divine will stretching across the churning water from him to you. It is a foundation laid upon the unstable abyss, a pathway paved with promise. The moment you hear it, a profound and supernatural calm settles over your own personal space, while the boat continues to heave and the sea to rage around it. The small patch of water directly before you seems to almost hold its breath, waiting. You feel the stunned, disbelieving gaze of the other disciples on you, but you barely notice. Their world is still one of fear and confusion, but yours has been clarified by that one word from your Lord. Your reality has been redefined. There is only Jesus and his invitation. You swing one leg over the side of the boat, the coarse wood scraping against your skin. You plant one foot firmly on the gunwale, your body tensed, your balance precarious. For a fleeting second, you look down at the dark, swirling water just inches below your feet, a roiling black mouth ready to swallow you, and the primal fear of it all threatens to surge back. But then you lift your eyes again, back to the steady, waiting form of Jesus, his silhouette a beacon of unwavering calm in the heart of the tempest. His gaze meets yours across the expanse, and in that look you find all the reassurance you need. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs with the storm-tossed air, and you step out of the boat, The moment your foot leaves the relative security of the boat is a moment suspended in time, an eternal second, where every law of nature you have ever known screams in silent protest. You are fully committed, your weight transferring from the groaning, familiar wood to the unpredictable, raging surface of the sea. You anticipate the icy shock, the immediate plunge into the suffocating blackness, the desperate and futile fight for air. But it does not come. Instead of yielding, the water meets the sole of your foot with a firmness that is utterly baffling, a sensation your mind has no category for. It feels like stepping onto cool, living stone, a surface that is both solid and fluid at the same time, a liquid marble that cradles the arch of your foot with impossible strength. The cold is there, a sharp and biting reality that shoots up your leg, but it is accompanied by a buoyant, supportive force that holds you, that bears your entire weight without question. The boat gives a violent lurch behind you, swept away by another monstrous wave, and for a terrifying instant you are truly alone, marooned not in the water but on the water, a solitary man standing on a foundation made of miracle. You dare to press down, testing it, and the surface holds, solid and true, the churning water beneath it somehow tamed into submission directly under your feet. A wave of pure, unadulterated awe, so powerful it almost knocks the breath from your lungs, washes over you, momentarily eclipsing even the storm's fury. The roar of the wind seems to dim, the percussive crash of the waves receding to a distant drumbeat, as your entire consciousness is consumed by the profound and holy strangeness of this single, impossible moment. You have stepped out of the world of what is possible and into the reality of who God is. You risk lifting your other foot from the gunwale, a slow, deliberate motion filled with a mixture of terror and triumphant faith. As you bring it forward, placing it down upon the water a pace ahead of the other, the miracle repeats itself. The tumultuous sea once again solidifies beneath your step, providing a new platform, a new island of stability in the heart of the chaos. You have taken a step, and then another. You are walking on the water, moving steadily away from the fragile safety of the boat and toward the serene figure of Jesus. With each step, the initial shock gives way to a fragile, burgeoning confidence. The process is a rhythm of pure trust. Your gaze, your entire being is locked on Jesus. He is your anchor, your focal point, the source of the very ground beneath your feet. As long as you look at him, the world makes a different kind of sense. The wind still tears at your cloak, plastering the wet fabric to your skin. The cold spray still peppers your face and tastes of salt on your lips. But these are mere sensations, the background noise of a reality that no longer holds dominion over you. The true reality is his presence, his power, flowing through you, beneath you, making a way where there is no way. You can feel the swirl of powerful currents around your ankles, a constant, chilling reminder of the abyss just beneath the surface you walk upon, a liquid reminder of what should be, yet the path holds. Each spot where you place your foot becomes, for that moment, as solid as the rocky shores of Galilee. It is a walk of moment-by-moment dependence, a continuous act of choosing to believe His word over the evidence of your senses. The faces of your friends in the boat have become a pale, indistinct blur in the distance, their shouts of disbelief or encouragement lost to the gale. They belong to a different world now, the world of cause and effect, of wood and water. Your world, for these sacred moments, has only two inhabitants, you and your Lord. As you draw closer, you can see Him more clearly. A faint, ethereal light seems to cling to His form, pushing back the oppressive darkness of the storm just enough to illuminate Him. You can see the water beating on His robes, the wind tossing the strands of His hair across His brow, yet He stands completely untroubled, His posture one of perfect peace and absolute authority, as if He were standing on a sun-drenched hill and not in the midst of a raging tempest. His expression is not one of smiling encouragement, but something far deeper, a look of profound, knowing love, of powerful affirmation. His eyes, fixed on you, are the calm at the center of the universe. They are the source of your strength, the wellspring of your courage. In them, you see not a judgment of your audacity, but a welcome. He is not surprised by your presence here. He is the one who called you forth. This shared experience, this impossible journey across the waves, is an intimate communion between you and your God, a secret whispered in the heart of a hurricane. The exhilaration of it is intoxicating, a divine joy that fills you from the inside out, warming you against the chill of the night. You are doing the impossible. You are walking where only God should walk. The fear has not vanished entirely. It is a shadow that dances at the edges of your vision, a whisper on the wind that reminds you of your own fragility, but it is powerless as long as your focus remains unbroken. You feel the truth of His power not as an abstract concept, but as a physical reality supporting your every step. It is the creative and sustaining Word of God made manifest, holding you aloft against all logic and all odds. This is what it means to live by faith, to fix your eyes on Jesus and to walk forward into the storm, trusting that His presence will be the solid ground beneath your feet. The distance between you and Him closes with each miraculous step, 10 paces, then 15. The boat is a ghost behind you. Jesus is a tangible reality before you. The feeling is one of supreme safety, of being utterly and completely held and protected in the arms of omnipotence. Here, in the center of the storm, walking toward your Lord, you are safer than you have ever been in your entire life. There is no wave high enough, no wind strong enough to touch you here, for you are not treading on water. You are treading on the very promise of God Himself. With every single step, the surreal nature of your journey becomes more profoundly ingrained in your soul. The initial heart-pounding shock has begun to transmute into a state of sublime, heightened awareness, a plane of existence where the natural and supernatural have merged into one breathtaking reality. The water beneath your sandals continues its impossible act, solidifying just before your weight descends, and returning to its liquid chaos the moment you lift your foot, leaving no trace of your passage, save for the ever-widening distance between you and the boat. You become acutely aware of the subtle sensations of this divine pathway. You can feel the immense, latent power of the sea thrumming through the soles of your feet, a dormant leviathan held in check by a will infinitely greater than its own. It is like standing on the back of a sleeping giant, conscious of the immense strength that could be unleashed at any moment, yet feeling utterly secure in the command of the one who has tamed it. You are so close now that you can see the droplets of sea spray clinging to Jesus' beard like tiny jewels, and you can perceive the profound stillness that emanates from him, an aura of perfect tranquility that the storm cannot penetrate. It is a peace so palpable, so absolute, that you feel it beginning to seep into your own being, calming the frantic rhythm of your heart and replacing it with a steady, powerful beat of pure adoration. A thought, glorious and humbling, rises within you. You are sharing in his nature, participating in his dominion over creation. He has not merely performed a miracle for you to witness. He has invited you into the miracle itself, making you a part of it. The wind, which still whips your cloak and stings your eyes, seems to be a part of a world you have already left behind, its rage impotent against the shield of his presence. Yet, as you draw near, a new sensation begins to weave its way into the tapestry of your all, a subtle but dangerous thread of self-consciousness. The initial all-consuming focus on Jesus begins to admit other thoughts. You are aware with a startling clarity of what you are actually doing. The sheer magnitude of your own actions begins to compete for your attention. You, Simon, son of Jonah, a simple fisherman, are defying the fundamental laws of God's creation. A nascent pride, not born of arrogance, but of pure, human astonishment, begins to blossom in your chest. You think of the men back in the boat, their faces now lost to the distance and the gloom, and you can already imagine the story you will tell, the awe in their eyes as you recount this moment. You are the one who asked, the one who dared, the one who had faith enough to step out onto the abyss. The miracle, which began as an act of pure, dependent trust in Jesus, starts to feel, just slightly, like an achievement of your own. Your focus, once a single, unwavering beam of light directed solely at your Lord, now begins to split. A part of it remains on him, the necessary anchor, but another part turns inward, marveling at the strength of your own faith, at the courage flowing through your own veins. The walk is no longer just about getting to Jesus. It has also become a testament to your own spiritual prowess. The ground beneath your feet, once a pure gift of his power, now feels subtly connected to the strength of your own belief. In this infinitesimal shift in perspective, this microscopic transfer of reliance from the Creator to the creature, is a crack in the foundation, an opening through which the storm can finally begin to creep. The tempest seems to sense this shift, this momentary lapse in your perfect communion with the divine will that holds you aloft. Or perhaps the storm's fury was always this great, but your divided attention now allows you to feel its true power for the first time. The wind intensifies, its low howl escalates into a high-pitched, predatory shriek that seems to target you personally, tearing at you with renewed violence. It is no longer just an impersonal force of nature. It feels like an attack, a conscious effort to break your concentration and throw you from your miraculous perch. The waves around you swell to new and terrifying heights, no longer just rising and falling, but crashing into one another with concussive force, sending geysers of white water exploding into the air. One such wave breaks perilously close, and the frigid spray it throws is no longer a mist, but a deluge, a solid sheet of water that hits you with staggering force, making you falter in your step. For the first time, you feel the miraculous surface beneath you waver, a subtle, terrifying tremor that sends a jolt of alarm through your entire body. The illusion of absolute safety shatters, replaced by the acute awareness of your precarious position. You are standing on a liquid battlefield, and the enemy has just redoubled its assault. Your breathing quickens, and the sublime peace of a moment ago is tainted by a new surge of adrenaline, the kind born not of exhilaration, but of imminent danger. Your human instincts, long suppressed by the miracle, begin to reawaken, screaming warnings of the impossible, undeniable peril that surrounds you on all sides. You try to force them down to re-establish that perfect, singular focus on Jesus, but it is too late. The world, in all its chaotic and threatening reality, has found its way back in. It happens in an instant, a subtle but catastrophic shift in your perception. For all these miraculous steps, your gaze has been a lifeline, a tether of faith fixed upon the unwavering form of Jesus. But the storm has not ceased its assault, and in a moment of human frailty, its sheer overwhelming reality breaks through your shield of focus. It is not a conscious choice, but an instinctual reaction. A violent gust of wind, stronger than any before, hits you with the force of a physical blow, howling past your ears with a sound like a predatory scream. Simultaneously, a colossal wave crests, unnervingly close, a moving mountain of liquid darkness that hangs over you for a terrifying second, and in that second you glance away from your Lord to behold the full, unmitigated fury of what surrounds you. In that moment of diverted attention, the logic of the world comes rushing back in, a tidal wave of reason and terror. You are no longer seeing the miracle. You are seeing the storm. You see the true size of the waves, the sheer untamable power of the wind, the terrifying depth of the black water beneath your feet. And with that seeing comes the doubt, a cold and heavy stone that drops into the pit of your stomach. The wind is no longer just wind. It is a voice whispering of your foolishness, your insignificance. The water is no longer a solid path. It is an abyss waiting to claim you, and in the very instant that doubt takes root in your heart, the miracle falters. The solid surface beneath your feet gives way. The living stone turns back into yielding, chaotic water. The sensation is one of instantaneous, sickening failure. One moment you are held aloft by the power of God, the next you are subject once more to the indifferent laws of nature. The icy water, which had been a solid foundation, now surges up around your ankles, your calves. It's cold, a shocking violation. The weight of your own body, the heavy, waterlogged fabric of your robes, suddenly becomes an anchor, pulling you down with inexorable force. The panic, raw and absolute, explodes in your chest, a primal scream of a creature being swallowed by the deep. You flail, your arms slapping uselessly against the churning water, your legs kicking into a void that offers no purchase. The buoyant exhilaration of faith is replaced by the suffocating reality of sinking. The water is in your mouth, salty and choking, and the roar of the storm is now muffled, a deep and resonant booming sound heard through the barrier of the sea. Darkness closes in, not just the darkness of the night, but the deeper, more profound darkness of the depths. In this desperate, final moment, as the last of the air is crushed from your lungs and your vision blurs, your spirit cries out, bypassing all thought and doubt, reaching for the only hope that remains. It is a single, desperate prayer, torn from the very core of your being. Lord, save me. Before the cry has fully left your lips, before you have even finished drawing the breath to speak it, a hand closes around your wrist. It is not a frantic, searching grasp, but a grip of absolute certainty and immediate, overwhelming power. The downward plunge stops instantly. One moment you are sinking into a watery grave. The next you are held, suspended between the abyss and the air, by a strength that defies the drag of the sea and the weight of your own despair. The hand is impossibly strong, impossibly warm, a point of unshakable reality in the fluid chaos. It does not just hold you, it grounds you, it connects you back to life. Jesus is there, right beside you, his arm plunged into the very water that was claiming you. He lifts you effortlessly as one would lift a fallen child, and brings your head and shoulders back above the raging surface. You gasp, coughing and sputtering, drawing in the sweet, storm-tossed air, your eyes blinking away the salt water to see his face. He is looking at you, and his expression is not one of anger or disappointment, but of a deep, sorrowful tenderness. And he speaks, his voice not raised above the wind, but cutting through it with gentle clarity. You of little faith, he says, and the words are not an accusation, but a loving, probing question, a teacher's gentle query meant to reveal a truth. Why did you doubt? The question hangs between you, more powerful than the thunder, inviting you to see that it was not the storm that caused you to sink, but the moment you chose to believe in its power more than in his. He does not wait for an answer. Still holding your arm with that unyielding grip of grace, he begins to move, and you move with him back towards the distant bobbing light of the boat. This time, you do not walk on your own faith, but on his. You are carried by his strength, supported by his unwavering presence. Each step he takes creates the solid ground for you both, and you move across the surface, now not with the bold audacity of your own faith, but with the quiet humility of one who is being rescued. The storm still rages around you, the wind still howls, but it is as if you are enclosed in a bubble of perfect calm. Your entire world has once again shrunk to a single point of focus, but this time it is not just his distant form, but the feeling of his hand, the physical, tangible proof of his presence and his salvation. When your feet finally touch the solid, familiar wood of the boat and he helps you over the gunwale, a collective sigh of awe and relief fills the small vessel. In the very moment you are both safely aboard, a profound and holy stillness descends upon the world. The wind dies instantly, not fading away, but ceasing to exist, its furious shriek replaced by an impossible, deafening silence. The mountainous waves collapse, their energy dissipating in an instant, and the tumultuous surface of the Sea of Galilee becomes as smooth and reflective as dark glass. The bruised and violent clouds part, and a sliver of the moon appears, casting a gentle, silver path across the placid water. The sudden peace is more miraculous, more awe-inspiring than the storm itself, and in the breathless silence, your companions, your friends, fall to their knees on the damp deck, their faces filled with a reverence that transcends all fear, and they look upon Jesus, the man who holds the storm in the palm of his hand, and they worship him, their whispered voices filling the sacred quiet. Truly, you are the Son of God. And now, dear one, allow this story to settle deep within your spirit. Let the peace that fell upon the sea fall now upon you. Just as you have walked with Peter through the wind and the waves, know that Jesus walks with you through the storms of your own life. Perhaps tonight you feel as though you are in a small boat, tossed by the waves of anxiety or worry or grief. The wind may be howling with voices of doubt and fear, and the darkness may feel all-consuming, making you feel small and helpless. Hear the voice of your Lord cutting through that noise, speaking directly to your heart. Take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid. He is not distant, watching from a safe shore. He is present with you in the very midst of the chaos, and his presence is your peace. His power is greater than any storm you will ever face, and his love for you is a perfect, unshakable anchor for your soul. There will be moments when, like Peter, you take your eyes off of him. You will look at the size of the waves in your life. You will feel the force of the wind, and you may begin to sink under the weight of it all. In those moments, do not despair. Remember the cry that brings immediate salvation. Lord, save me. It is a prayer he always hears and always answers. Feel, even now, his hand reaching for you, a grip of absolute certainty and unconditional love, lifting you out of the depths of your fear. That same hand that caught Peter is holding you tonight. It is a hand that will not let you go. You are safe. You are secure. You are held by an omnipotent God who adores you. There is no depth from which he cannot rescue you, no darkness his light cannot penetrate. Rest in this profound and beautiful truth. So breathe deeply now. And as you exhale, release the need to fight the storm. Let go of the oars. Surrender your struggle. Allow the very presence of God to be the calm that stills the winds and the waves within your own heart and mind. Let His peace, a peace that transcends all understanding, settle over you like a warm, heavy blanket. May you feel yourself securely held in His loving grasp as you drift into a deep and restorative sleep. May your dreams be sweet and your rest be profound, knowing that the Master of the Sea is your ever-present protector, your calm in the chaos, your safe harbor. Sleep well, beloved child of God. Sleep in peace.